Jim, a colleague of mine, is the managing director of a family office investment firm. He was speaking at a Vistage meeting with about 20 of us CEOs in attendance. Jim opened his talk by saying, if you've seen one family office, you've seen one family office. He explained that unlike private equity, family offices are individually unique. There can often be more differences than similarities. Hi, I'm Phil Coerper, Managing Director of Ringling Business Solutions. I've worked for several family office owners and advised CEOs who have this ownership structure. In this episode of the CEO's Field Manual, we'll cover leading a family office-owned company. And yes, as Jim says, they are unique. We'll cover why that is, and we'll specifically discuss comparisons between PE and family office structures. There are also some common themes here that can help you get hired and help you win under family office ownership. I just published an episode focused on PE ownership. Make sure you also check that episode out too. Now, PE firms may have structural similarities with family offices. A family office is like PE in that it's an investment company set up to buy, own, and eventually sell companies. A key difference is the funding, which comes from a family wealth rather than institutional funds in PE. The family office is designed to invest a portion of the family's wealth and gain a return. One of the things that makes them individually unique is that the philosophy of the investment types, markets, and even business philosophies are extensions of the family's own value system. This is a key point. The personality and reputation of the family is core to the family office plan. The family may hire a managing director like Jim to run the business, but family members are often highly involved and engaged in how and where the funds are invested. The family offices I've worked with tended to be more patient in exit than private equity. In one example, they had no exit strategy at all. I was running a manufacturing company owned by a family office. The family office philosophy was to buy and hold assets. This philosophy was a direct extension of Alexander, the patriarch of the family. Now, if you watched the episode of CEO Field Manual, The Deed Problem Nobody Caught, you met Bobby, a wealthy Southern gentleman. Well, Alex was wealthy, but the similarities to Bobby kind of ended there. Alex was young, aggressive, and opinionated. He talked, walked, and made decisions quickly. He also did not shy away from controversy. He wanted things his way, and that was that. Alex liked real estate, retail stores, and service businesses. He also loved motorcycles. Not really an investment theme here, just what was interesting to Alex. Years earlier, he had sold a large, profitable company that helped fund the expansion of his family office. He got great wealth out of the sale, but he absolutely hated to lose the company that he built. He committed to never selling a business he liked again. Alex's perspectives drove a portfolio of companies that included substantial real estate holdings, a company designed to run these holdings, several retail outlets, including bars and motorcycle dealerships, plus several industrial service companies and a few manufacturing companies like the one that I ran. This portfolio would make a PE firm scratch their head and wonder, what business are we actually in? Not Alex. He loved the mix and the opportunities to be in these interesting businesses. He also had no intention of exiting any company he liked, even if the return on selling might be amazing. When I joined the firm to run one of the manufacturing companies, we were always looking for acquisitions. The process took some getting used to, though. Alex and his corporate team brought forward a very eclectic list of targets because they looked interesting and a fit in Alex's mindset at that moment. Much different than the PE M&A process I was used to, where theme of the profile and formula drove the M&A search process. Family offices also sometimes harvest equity along the way without selling or exiting the business, something a PE firm would likely never do. Harvesting equity or diluting shares is an event at a PE firm. Those things might just be the next good step at a family office. I also found that family offices tend to have less leverage on the company than PE firms I work for. In the last episode on PE ownership, I touched on how high debt can drive how a CEO runs the business. I'll go a bit deeper here. Managing for profit versus managing for cash flow drive different priorities and decision making by the executives. By profit, I mean gross margin and net income, not EBITDA, which I view as more of a cash flow metric. Let's look at a specific example. We're paying invoices for material purchased. We have the option of taking discounts for early payment. Taking the discount will improve margin while reducing cash on hand. Managing for profit, we would take the discount. Managing for cash, probably not. Back to family offices. Under family office, I experienced a willingness to combine resources from various owned companies, be it cash or shared resource support. In PE, we also supported sister companies with services or information, but we would never pool cash on the PE sponsor level. Here's an example. In a family office-owned firm, I was often working with Jack, the CFO of the family office, to help with cash flows or other items needed centrally by them. The company I was running often acted as the cash cow for investments the family office was making elsewhere. I'd often get a call from Jack. "How's cash looking, Phil? You know, we're expanding marketing at the stores. Would you mind if I take a few $100,000? "Sure, Jack. Is my profit goal changing?" Not. Jack and I were working to balance supplying cash to help fund other things and me managing for increasing profitability. Things can get complicated, but we managed to win on both the cash and the profit objectives. I also found the family office was a bit more hands-off than PE firms. Now, this may be a result of my personal experiences, but family office leaders I know are a bit more traditional. Hire well, support the hired executives, and let them do their thing. A common criticism of private equity is a focus on returns for the funds rather than long-term health of the business. Now, my PE friends would dispute this, saying those two are naturally aligned. I'll offer a likely quote from a PE executive. How exactly does a focus on growth, cash flows, cost management, and shareholder value hurt the long-term business again? In itself, it doesn't, of course. However, the family offices I worked with factored in things like community impact when, for example, looking at moving or closing a facility. I also have worked with family office firms that focused on buying companies in a fairly tight geographical area near where the main family members lived. Their focus was on developing the economy of their community, and that was a high priority for them. That's an unlikely decision point for PE. From a CEO standpoint, the core items needed to win are similar: a good relationship with the owner and board, strong alignment of goals and milestones, and embracing the accountability that comes with your role running the business. But with family office or any of these, you also must align with the perspective of your owners. We once put together a compelling analysis showing Alex he could generate significant returns by selling one of the retail businesses. He listened carefully, nodded, and said, "I built that. I'm keeping it. Meeting over." So let's hit some takeaways. First, there is an inherent uniqueness to a family office structure. The purpose, philosophy, and decisions made are direct extensions of the family values. This makes it much more than a business endeavor for them. Understanding how the specific FO is grounded is critical to your success. Secondly, the whole concept of exit can be very different between PE and a family office. Exit is the main event for many PE companies. An FO may be much more patient on exit or maybe buy and hold like Alex. Community or other non-business considerations may also influence exit decisions. And finally, read the family values, not just the business. The values, the history, the personality of the patriarch or the matriarch, and the family members involved is often the real operating manual for the company. Please tune in to the next episode of this Hired Gun series. Part 3 is on winning as an executive leader in a family-owned business. Thanks for joining this episode of the CEO's Field Manual. We'll see you soon. Thanks, everybody. Please subscribe, and we'll see you at a future video.